Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with another organization video. I'm going to organize all my singles. As you can see here, I do have my Cleona singles to start with. So I will go through these eyeshadow palettes today, and I want to organize them by used and unused shadows. And that is just for this year. So I have reached for, I think, most of my shadows overall. But this year I'm trying to reach for all of my shadows at least once. So I'm going to try to organize them by used and unused so that I can easier find the eyeshadows that I haven't used yet this year. Of course, that doesn't mean that I won't reach for the ones that I've already reached for this year, but it's just going to be easier for me to reach for the shadows that way. So I'm going to start with Cleona, which is why I have these palettes here, but I'm going to go through all of my brands. And these palettes are somewhat full. This is actually a new shadow palette that I got. I got the newest bundles in here, so that's kind of not full, but most of these are like mostly full. Like I have a few shadows here and there, but yeah, I'm going to go through these and I'm going to go start organizing. I do also have a spreadsheet next to me with all of the shadows, so I can look through what I have used and what I haven't used yet so far while I sort these out. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take out all of these new shadows, put them to the side for now, and I'm going to use this as my basis to like start off the first palette with my unused Cleona eyeshadows. This is actually an old shadow. I just have that in here. It's Sunbeam, so that can go out. So there we have an empty palette. I'm going to go through and have this here. I'm going to start going through the shadows. So I think this is the best way to get everything in frame. I have all my Cleona eyeshadow palettes here. So I'm going to go through the palettes and start taking things out. I'm going to go through the list, and again, I'm going to take out all the things I haven't used yet in this palette, and then I'm going to keep the ones that I have used for now in the other palette. So the first one I have is Forge, which I have not used, and it's this one. I knew which one that was. Then we have Rosette, which I think, no, that's Gothic. Then we have a Rosette, which I haven't used. So I actually started taking them out and putting them in like this, which ones I haven't used, which I have used. But I think it's going to be easy if I just take everything out of the palette and go through them like one by one, looking at the palettes and putting them on the right palette. So I'm going to do that instead. So let me go through and take all of these out. So there we have all of my Cleona eyeshadows. It doesn't feel like that many, but I'm going to put them to the side and I'm going to start organizing like I said. So I do already have this palette here with the eyeshadows that I have not yet used. I hope that's all in frame now. So I do have the eyeshadows here that I have not yet used already, so I'm going to keep going, and I think it's going to be easier to find them this way. And I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to speed this up because I don't think I want to talk through everything anyway because it's going to take a long time. So I'm going to speed this up, try to find the right shadows and start organizing them. And also now, since we have one palette empty here, I might as well just start putting the ones that I have used in this other palette and the ones in here. And I want to try to organize them by formula. Okay, so my camera cut out, but here is the Dual multichromes, here is the ones I haven't used, these are the ones that I have used. So let's move on to the next category, which is the hybrid multichromes. So there we have the deep iridescent multichromes as well. So let's move on to the next category, which is the pastel multichromes. And there's only 4 of these. This should be quite quick. And there we have those 4. And next up we have a big category, which is the glitter multichromes. So let's move on to those. And there we have the glitter multichromes. So let's move on to the next category, which is vibrant multichromes. And there we have the vibrant multichromes. So let's move on to the glitter vibrant chromes next. And there we have the glitter vibrant multichromes. So next up we have the earth vibrant multichromes. And there we have the earth vibrants. So let's move on to the electric multichromes. And we have the first unused palette full. So that's the first one. Let's open up a new palette. And there we have the full palette of singles used. You can see I missed or left a couple out, but that's because they are in different palettes or projects, and I just want to have them in there. Like for example, I have here like my perfect singles palette I created. I want to keep that for now, so I left space for those. And then I also have a couple in my Armageddon project pan, so that's why I left it a few spaces, but that is one is full. And it's kind of interesting to compare because obviously like what I have used and what I haven't used. I feel like what I have used is brighter, more fun. This is more kind of muted shades, which are more like fall appropriate, I would say, and this is kind of more spring summer, so I can see why I have used these shades and not these. And here we have the electric multichromes done. So next up we have the pearlescent multichromes, which are these four here, and then we also have this random one, which is Happy Accident, which was like I guess limited edition shadow. Let's go through those. And then lastly, we have all of the iridescents right here. So I'm going to go through these and sort them out. Okay, so here we have the last two palettes. This is what I have used. No, sorry, this is what I haven't used. This is what I have used. So looking at the two palettes, or the four palettes rather. So for my Cleon eyeshadows, this is the overview right here. I do also have, like I said, actually let me put them in the one of the palettes. So here you have the overview of the Cleon eyeshadows. These are the ones that I haven't used, and these are the ones that I have used. So you can see like a little bit of my collection. I don't think you can quite see this whole palette, but at the bottom is just the newest shades that I got, which I obviously haven't reached for yet. So these are the ones that I'm going to focus on, and these are the ones that I have already used. But of course, if I want to reach for them again, I can. So yeah, I'm just gonna move on to the next brand, which I think should be Glam Shop. So before we move on to Glam Shop, I just want to empty a palette. This is the previous palette that I had to use singles. I did kind of, I have used this one. I put all singles that I haven't used yet in here, but these ones are the ones that I haven't used for. These are the ones that I have used. So I'm gonna empty this palette out, and then we can put the singles in here that I need to use. So there we have that empty palette, and here we have my Glam Shop singles. So I'm just going to go through them and move them over here, or keep them in here depending on if I use them or not. So here you have the Glam Shop shadows sorted out. These are the ones that I haven't used. These are the ones that I have used. So these are going to stay in the Glam Shop palette, and then these right here are going to be built with the under singles. And I think next up I'm going to do Pastel Roses. So here we have my Pastel Roses shadows. So I'm going to do the same thing, and whatever I haven't used, I'm going to move over to this palette and continue building on this one. And whatever I have used is going to stay in this palette. So here are my pastel roses shades. I did have to switch this one around. I realized that it was in the wrong place. Doesn't matter, but yeah, so this is the ones that I have used. I have a few places missing for my Project Armageddon as well as my like perfect singles palette. And then again, I have built these on top of the Glam Shop ones. So these here from this yellow down are pastel roses shades. So those are all of the pastel roses ones. Let's move on to Terra Moons. So for Terra Moons, I have that palette as well as this one here. This one mainly has the mattes. So I'm going to place this one up here for when I need it, but I'm going to pick it as they come. So the next palette is full. This is again all the singles that I have not yet used. So this is full. I'm going to have to figure out a new palette to start filling. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the pastel roses shades over to this small palette. So there we have the pastel roses shades. I had to scooch one over because I left one room for one of the edges in my Armageddon project pan, but I had to like scooch them all to fit them in. So for now, I'm going to leave it like this and I'm going to handle it later when I have more space. So here we have all of my Terra Moons eyeshadows. These are the remainder of the ones that I have not yet used. And I will again keep building on this. And then here we have the ones that I have used. And again, I left a few spaces of where I have things in other projects. So yeah, that is it. And then again, this right here is the other palette that I had with eyeshadows that I have not yet used. This is the Glam Shop pastel roses and terramoons ones. The terramoons ones start from here going down. So next up we have Sydney Grays, and I do have again quite a few eyeshadows. I have that palette there, and then I also have this palette, all completely full, and I also have a couple miscellaneous here on the side put out. So to have space as well as to make it easier, because there's several palettes, I'm going to take everything out like I did with the clear eyeshadows and start organizing from there. So here we have the eyeshadows all here. I'm hoping most of them are in frame, and then we have two palettes here. Again, I'm going to do things I haven't used on top and things I have used on the bottom. So my camera had to charge for a little bit, and I realized that I actually didn't start refilling the old palette with the terramoon shades in it. So I moved the Sydney Gray shades over, and we're going to continue like this. So this is like the old palette, and then we're just going to continue. So let me do that. So there we have the next palette full with the terramoons, and starting from here, Sydney Grays. Let's start on the next palette. So here we are with the finished palette. These are all of the ones that I haven't used. These are the ones that I have used. So as you can see, I have been neglecting my Sydney Grace shadows quite a bit. They're probably the biggest part of my singles collection that I have not yet reached for. So I'm happy that I'm doing this so I can see what I haven't reached for and what I have. So yeah, this is going to be my Sydney Grace palette for now. It's very, very empty. And hopefully I can keep filling this up with things that I have reached for. Next up for palettes, we have this one here, which is my miscellaneous singles. This is like a big mix of brands. So we're going to go through this one next. So as you can see, I filled up another palette. So what I have done is I've taken out this little palette right here, and I'm actually going to fill that up with the shades that I have used and keep this with the ones that I haven't used. So I'm going to have to move all of these over there and continue here with the ones that I have used. And there we have those palettes. These are the ones that I have used, and these are the ones that I haven't used on top of the previous palette right there. So we're almost done. We're done with all of the like circle shadows that are regular size. Next up, we're going to do Colourpop mini shadows. camera cut out, so I missed a couple of shades, but I'm almost done with the Colourpop shades. And there we have it. These are the ones that I have used. These are the ones that I haven't used. Again, quite a lot that I haven't used. And that is almost it, actually. I only have 6 more eyeshadows left, which I haven't used. And I'm going to put them down here because I haven't used any of these. And they are my Jade Glow eyeshadows. So, let me see if I can fit these at the bottom here. Perfect. So that is the last palette. So lastly, let's go over the palettes. So again, I'm going to start with the ones that I haven't used. So this is the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and then my 2 Cleon eyeshadows palettes. So the first one here, and then lastly this one. So those are all the things that I still have yet to reach for. Let's just go over the other palettes too with the shades that I already reached for. So again, we have this one here. We have my Pastel Roses palette. We have this palette here, which I have to move over my Glam Shop shades. So we have, on top is my random shades, and then down here is my Glam Shop eyeshadows. We have this one here, which has my Sydney Grace shades. This one here, which has my Terra Moons eyeshadows. And then again, my 2 Cleona palettes. So this is the first one. And the last palette. On top of that, it's also worth mentioning that I do have a couple other palettes. My Armageddon palettes right here, which I obviously reach for all of the shades in. I also have this palette right here with eyeshadows that I'm trying to finish this year or try to get as much use out of it as possible. So I reach for those as well. And then lastly, we have like that perfect palette that I created as well, which I also reached for. I think all of the shades. If I haven't, I will definitely do that too, because this is a palette that I want to play around with more. So those are the lost palettes. And there you guys was it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now because I think it's going to be quite a long one. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye guys.